That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Alright guys, I am so excited to bring y'all this video, as this is the first video on the channel where we are going to be discussing the 2021 rookie draft class. I mean, this class is exciting. I'll say right out the gate, I want to say this in our first video. If you hear anybody comparing this to the 2020 NFL draft class, smack them beside the head, because that is horrendous. The 2020 draft class is leaps and bounds better than what we are going to have in 2021. It's almost impossible to compare any draft class to 2020, as we had some true cornerstone elite assets coming into the NFL that season. But here, there's still a ton of talented guys to discuss. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the top two running backs by consensus in Travis Etienne and Najee Harris. But before we get into the video, I owe y'all a massive thank you for all the support that y'all showed on the channel as of late. I mean, we are continuing to grow as the fastest growing Dynasty fantasy football channel on YouTube. And that is going to continue throughout the entire offseason with how y'all have been leaving so many likes on the videos. Y'all have been leaving so many comments letting me know your opinions and how I can improve the channel, and I owe y'all a massive thank you for doing so. But in this video, let's start it off by talking about Najee Harris, talking about what he was able to do at Alabama, and then we'll transition over to Travis Etienne and give my final ruling at the end of the video. And starting off with Najee Harris, I mean, the glaring red flag on his profile is he is about to turn 23 years old. I mean, you have to take a double take whenever you see that stat. When we had players like Clyde Edwards-Helaire going into the NFL draft at 20 years old, you have Jonathan Taylor, who's like 8 months younger than Najee Harris. Listen to this fact, because I had to sit here and stare at this over and over and over again to make sure I was not messing this up. But Cam Akers is actually 16 months younger than Najee Harris. Yes, Cam Akers, who had just completed his rookie season, currently playing in the NFL playoffs as a starting running back, is 16 months younger than Najee Harris. And I know when we talk about age with these prospects, a lot of people get the wrong idea. People think I'm saying because Najee Harris is a little bit of an older running back that we don't want him in Dynasty because his career is going to be a little shorter. No, that's nonsense. Of course, that's not why we're talking about it. I mean, Najee Harris, if he's a hit, he's going to be a value in Dynasty drafts for the next 5 years now. But if you look historically at the running backs that find success at the NFL level, the majority of them find that success by coming into the NFL their rookie season at 21 years old. Generally, the running backs that are coming in at 23 years old indicates that they were unable to develop early enough in their collegiate careers. They were unable to put their talent on display, and generally when they have that late breakout is just because they were able to dominate younger competition. This is why we did not draft Keyshawn Vaughn in a single Dynasty rookie draft an offseason ago. But let's get past that one red flag right now. Let's look at the rest of the profile, because there's a ton to be excited about, starting with Najee Harris's size, which we don't have his official measurements just yet. Really don't even know if we are going to have the NFL Combine this offseason with COVID. If we don't, I mean, that is going to be monumental in not allowing us to get a full picture on these rookie prospects. I really am hoping that we get the NFL Combine, but right now the listed height and weight for Najee Harris is 6'2", 230 pounds. So obviously he has the size. Just by looking at him on the field as well, you can tell that he has the size to be a 3-down running back at the NFL level. And let's see when he was able to become that 3-down workhorse at Alabama. And if y'all remember, Najee Harris coming into Alabama was a highly rated recruit. He was a 5-star guy, a top 10 player in the country, and he goes to Alabama. A ton of people are excited about him, but his true freshman season, I mean, he really was a non-factor. He was not able to get anything going. He only averaged 6 carries a game, a total of 41 total yards a game, then 6 yards per carry, under a reception a game and 3 total touchdowns. So clearly he was playing a backup type role, but this is because Alabama had Najee Harris, Alabama had Bo Scarborough, and they had Josh Jacobs all on the roster, all getting touches ahead of Najee Harris. And then if we go to his true sophomore season, Najee Harris was really a non-factor yet again, averaging about 7.5 carries a game, a little bit over 50 total yards a game, almost 7 yards per carry. So he is efficient when he was able to touch the ball. Just the volume's not there. I mean, he was not getting used in the passing game either. Less than a reception a game, 4 total touchdowns. But finally, in his true junior season, Najee Harris was able to burst onto the scene. This is when Najee Harris and Josh Jacobs were both drafted into the NFL. Obviously, Jacobs to the Las Vegas Raiders in the first round, Najee Harris to the New England Patriots in the third round in the 2019 NFL Draft. And this opened up the space on the roster for Najee Harris to see over 16 carries a game, over 115 yards a game, almost 6 yards per carry. What I was most excited to see, though, is not Najee Harris handling a full workload, but I was more so excited about seeing his receiving role develop in this offense, where he was now averaging over 2 receptions a game, which is more than enough to check the box of being a receiver at the next level, and also seeing 20 total touchdowns. Now, a lot of people, including myself, wanted to see Najee Harris come out in the 2020 NFL draft class, but I think he made the best decision for himself in staying to declare with the 2021 class, as that 2020 group was light years ahead of him with Jonathan Taylor, J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers, DeAndre Swift, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So he decides to come back for his senior season at Alabama, which is generally a red flag, but I think we can write it off because of the competition that he saw earlier on his college career. And here, this past season, he almost averaged 20 carries a game, almost 150 total yards per game, still almost 6 yards per carry. But what is amazing to see is over 3 receptions a game, close to 3.5 receptions a game, combined with 30 total touchdowns from Najee Harris. I mean, a fantastic season, jumped up to a lot of people's running back one, where we know coming into the year, people had him behind Travis Etienne, people had him behind Chuba Hubbard, but now it looks like Najee Harris is almost the consensus running back one. I don't know if I can get there with him just because of that red flag with his age. If you look at historical hit rates, really that is a major knock against him. And also, I kind of want to compare Najee Harris a little bit to David Montgomery. Y'all know I did not like David Montgomery coming out of Iowa State back in the 2019 NFL draft class. And the reason was because I did not see that second gear. I did not see the ability to be able to get away from those linebackers and just break away and guarantee that touchdown. I mean, if you just watch Najee Harris, the majority of his touchdowns are coming after he is breaking a tackle. He stiff arms a defender into the end zone, and he's never really able to break away fully. You don't see any touchdowns that are longer than 30 yards, and that's exactly what we saw with David Montgomery, and he can easily be the best tackle breaker at the NFL level. He can still easily find a ton of success. He just does not have that Saquon Barkley type athletic profile, which does not give him that elite level upside because he consistently gets caught at the second level and he's strong enough to stiff arm that defender as they go on. But I would prefer him to just have that speed. Clearly, we don't have his official 40 time yet, but out of high school, he ran a 4.66. And if that is what he is running at his pro day, I mean, clearly that is going to be a major knock on his profile. So with Najee Harris, I mean, really the only thing yet to see is what is that 40-yard dash. Generally, I don't care too much about combine times, except in this one specific scenario where we have the question around the speed. If he comes out, if he's able to run, just say a 4.49 or anything in that range, I mean, no question, Najee Harris is the running back one by far and away. Najee Harris is an elite 3-down running back. But if he comes in and he runs a 4.66, I mean, what will the conversation be around this 23-year-old rookie running back? Okay, so now let's go over and let's talk about the other running back in consideration for the running back one in this draft class. And this is going to be Travis Etienne. So with Travis Etienne, a lot of people are going to be surprised to hear that he is 22 years old despite staying in college for 4 years at Clemson. This is why not too many people in the Dynasty community were upset when he decided to stay that last season, outside of the guys who wanted to select him at the 101, 102 pick in last year's draft. And here with Travis Etienne, the only red flag on his profile, honestly, is the size. I mean, right now he's listed at 5'10", 205 pounds, which is not going to get it done. I mean, that is not a 3-down bell cow type workload body. I mean, we need to see some more weight on this frame. I mean, he's clearly a track star. We have no question with his speed, unlike Najee Harris. But we need to see him go to the Clemson Pro Day or go to the NFL Combine if it happens and weigh in at 215 pounds. I mean, that is the mark where I think that we can confidently look at Travis Etienne and go, you know what? He has the size. He can be a 3-down running back, because right now, throughout his college career, I mean, it's not like he was ever seeing a ridiculous amount of volume. Let's go through what he was able to do at Clemson. I mean, in his true freshman season, I mean, he was very efficient. He had 8 carries a game, over 63 total yards, almost half a reception a game, and 13 touchdowns right away as a true freshman. Looked every bit of an NFL running back as well. In 2018, a very similar story here where he was able to bump up the carries slightly, still very efficient. I mean, off of about 14 carries a game, he saw over 110 yards a game, and then 0.8 receptions and 26 total touchdowns. So at this point in his career, really, the only question we have is, can he provide enough receiving game ability to be used that way at the NFL level? But he answered that question right after that. I mean, in his true junior season in 2019, averaged 14 carries a game, over 130 total yards, but here, 2.5 receptions. That's what we love to see. 2.5 receptions in a game is perfect. And he even built on that in 2020, upping that to 4 receptions a game. So Travis Etienne clearly is a great receiver of the football, but we just need to know what that size is going to be. And that's what I'll say right now. I mean, I have been telling people up until this point and really diving in, watching these running backs, looking at their profiles. I was telling people that I preferred having Travis Etienne over Najee Harris. But at this point, I think maybe it's just a little too early to say. I mean, we have some major question marks around both of these profiles. In the case of Travis Etienne, it's his size. I mean, can he put some more muscle in? Or what is that official weight going to be? And with Najee Harris, it's coming down to the 40 time. I mean, what is the 40 time going to be? So here, I'll say, I think that we give this a wash, to be completely honest. I hate to give this answer. Most people are going to have Najee Harris, and then they're not even going to be thinking about it. But I generally prefer to go with the better pass catcher, the guys that is a little bit more athletic. And we know that Travis Etienne is that elite level athlete. And I think both of these guys should be drafted in a similar area of the NFL draft. So I think at this point, if we are looking at these two profiles, it's going to come down entirely to landing spot at the NFL level, unless we are able to have either guy separate themselves in terms of Najee Harris showing the speed or Travis Etienne showing the size, then completing their profiles. Because right now, I can tell you, if you put these two guys together in a lab, I mean, you have the best running back of all time walking out, but both of them have their question marks. And I think we need to wait through this offseason to get our answers. But please, guys, go down to the comment section and let me know what you think between Travis Etienne and Najee Harris and who you are more excited about this season. I'm expecting a lot of people to say Najee Harris. I'm just a little bit hesitant because he has some massive red flags.